Welcome to this recording of the Online50 DocLink webinar that took place on the 30th of April 2014. This isn't a recording of the actual webinar because there was a technical problem with the audio on that event which prevented the recording from taking place. We're going to run through the webinar as it was given. You should find it useful if you have an interest in how DocLink could help you work effectively with source documents when you're working with Online50. Online50 is the Work Anywhere company. For companies that are using Online50 to work with Sage 50 accounts, we're providing secure access to multiple versions of Sage 50 accounts and complementary software to multiple users in multiple locations at the same time. We have a character, Jane Any User, we've called her. Here she is in the picture taken from our website. She's happy because she can access Sage accounts from anywhere. So here she is working from home. She has a problem. She's looking at a transaction her colleague has posted in Sage. She doesn't understand it's posting to the nominal account. She hasn't got access to that source document, so she could try calling her co-worker. Of course, her co-worker might be difficult to get hold of. If her co-worker is located in another location, she could be waiting for their office to open. And when it does open, she has to hope that they can find the source document. Jane wants to know, isn't there a better way? Well, that's what DocLink is really for. DocLink provides access to source documents from directly within the Sage software. So that means you can access your source documents from anywhere you can access the accounts. And of course with Online50, when we say anywhere, it means absolutely anywhere. Okay, we're just going to have a look at an initial demonstration of how to solve Jane's problem, and then we'll come back and think a bit more about the value that we get from DocLink. Okay, here we are in Accounts 2013. We've got some demo data loaded in there. DocLink will work with all versions from 2007 onwards. We said that Jane has a problem trying to track down what's happened with a transaction that looks odd. So we're going to look at this supplier account. It's just demo data, as I say, and look at the activity. And here we've got a transaction listing. There is only one invoice listed for this supplier. Now I'm going to hold down the control key, which you can't see, and then I'm just going to click on that transaction, and straight away you'll see this window opens listing all of the documents that are attached to that transaction. And I've got here a PDF file. If I open that, double click on it, here's the PDF file, and you can see it's for £2,500 net. Now this obviously isn't a proper invoice, someone's just thrown it together for the demo. You can also see we've got a text document, we can have multiple documents listed, and here we've got a note against the document, they quoted £2,000, please check. So there should be all the information here that Jane needs to work out what's going on with the transaction, that when she looks at it, she doesn't understand where it's come from. So once again, just hold down the control key, and with the control key held down anywhere on this transaction line, just click once, the window opens, and there are all the documents that you may need to see regarding the transaction. Okay, we're going to have a more complete demonstration of DocLink in a minute. So why DocLink? Those of you who've been with Online50 for a number of years may remember that we have looked at other document management type solutions. But there is one thing that really makes DocLink stand out, and that's how simple it is. It's the kind of idea which you won't think of until you see it, and then when you've seen it you think, well, obviously, why don't we do that? It's brilliantly simple. The key differentiator is its document access technology. It does have some document management features, so you can set a status to a document which can be changed, you can control who can change that status, you can find documents by status, but it doesn't try to be everything to everyone. This is a way of controlling the source documents that relate to your Sage 50 accounts, so things like invoices from your suppliers. spreadsheets where people might be making expense claims. Who's behind DocLink? The software is developed by a company called Ultris Software, and it's brought to market by DocManager. DocManager is a joint venture between Ultris Software and Moore Stephens, who are an established firm of accountants and have been an Online50 partner for some years. We've taken the trouble to make sure we've integrated DocLink tightly into Online50. First of all, DocLink is standard software. It can be used offline as well as online. You'll remember one of the things that we try to do is make it easy for you to go online and easy for you to go offline when you need to. The documents that are saved form part of the Sage dataset, which means when you take a Sage backup, they can be included in that backup. That makes it very easy to take all of the documents online or offline in one go. Using the Online50 data console, there is one-click activation for enabling DocLink on a dataset. So some of the key features of DocLink: you can attach any electronic documents. That could be a scanned image, it could be a picture file, it could be an Excel spreadsheet, it could be copies of emails, could be PDF documents, any electronic document at all. And you can attach that to any Sage transaction. So whether it's on the sales ledger, the purchase ledger, the cash book, whether it's a journal, any Sage transaction. The caveat with journals we should mention is that Sage stores a journal with each leg, each entry of the journal is a separate transaction, and therefore if you save against the journal, you're saving against one of the legs of the journal. There is document status control, as we've mentioned, which allows you to control the status of a document, and you can directly email documents. Once you've opened the document, you get the option to email it. So that makes it very easy when you found a document to email it on either to a colleague or to one of your customers or suppliers. Okay, so let's take a look at DocLink with a bit more of a detailed look at how the software works and how it can help you in your business. Okay, so here we are back in Sage. To understand the journey of DocLink, we're going to close Sage and we're going to look at the data console. The Online50 data console is what we use for enabling DocLink. And here I've got it looking at the registered data sets for this client. So this is the data set that we've just been looking at. If I find it on the left hand side, the first thing I'm going to show you is where those attachments are stored. So inside the Sage dataset, we've got here the reports and layouts, which you'll know holds your stationery and report files. And then inside the attachments folder, so within Sage, you can put an attachment onto a customer record, a supplier record, etc. And they get stored under this attachments folder. There's now a folder called DocLink, and inside there, the different parts of Sage have folders for it. So here we are, this is who we were just looking for. Suppliers, that's the supplier account reference. It's a purchase invoice, that's the type of transaction, that's the transaction number, and here are the files that are saved. You'll see here there are some versions of the same file, so you can actually store different versions of a file and keep all of the versions stored, and it will only show you the latest version, which you may remember seeing on that demo that we looked at a moment ago. So if we come back up to the top level here, I'm going to show you, if we bring up the properties for this data set, this is all standard to the data console, we bring up the integration tab, you'll see we've got here DocLink50 enabled. If you tick that box, everything is done for you behind the scenes that will make DocLink work with this data set. Okay, so we're going to go back into the data in a moment. We've got these two invoices that we want to file. Now these are actually sales invoices that we've raised. So we'll look at this one. If I can click correctly, here we go. You just see it's a standard Sage layout with a template behind it on a PDF. And we've got this one, and it's very similar except it doesn't have the template behind it. So this is invoice number 6, and this one, invoice number 76. So we're just going to file those so that you can see how easy it is to do that. To launch that, I'm just going to double click on the company in here to launch it. Obviously we can open the program and then choose the data set, but we'll just launch it from there. Log in. No, we won't bother with those. This is, as I say, just the demo data. So we had one for this account. It's a customer account, COM001. It's invoice number 76. So we'll just open that up. Look at the activity. There it is, invoice number 76. If I hold down the control key again, press click, there's a copy of that invoice. The other account that we had was DST. Open the activity. Now here we can see lots of different transactions. This is how it's been posted. Different transactions listed underneath it. There's nothing listed under there. I can add from a file. Asks me to find the file. I've saved the file in here on the DocLink demo. There it is. Save that file. It's now attached. Hold down the control key. Click, and there it is. You did notice when I hit add, you can add from a scanner. We do support scanning onto the Online50 platform if you have the correct software licenses. I'll talk about that when we return to the presentation in a moment. Okay, up here we've got these two icons for DocLink. So the DocLink client icon will bring up the main DocLink client interface. You don't normally need to use this. This is for running the scanner and attaching files. You can look at the transactions that you've found based on statuses. We've got more information in here. This is all set up for you, so you don't need to worry about that. If you go into the configuration tool, this shows you the fact you can set up document statuses, which companies are active. All of this is set up for you just by clicking on that Enable DocLink checkbox in the data console. There are different Windows users. This is the user account that I'm using, one of our demo accounts called Client. So you can say whether or not they're allowed to change statuses, etc. So that means you can create a status, you can set a document to a particular status, and then change the status accordingly. So if we go back into this account, open this transaction, here's this document, properties on the document. It has a status which I can change. I can make notes. It's an invoice that we've sent out, and you can track multiple versions of the document where that's appropriate. Click OK. The notes are now coming up on this list. As you can see, the whole system is very easy to use. Most users simply need to control click on the transaction, add the records that they need, or look at the records that have already been added. You can't really get any easier than that. We're going to go back to the presentation. There is more that we could show you, and if you'd like to see DocLink in more detail, by all means call the Online50 team. We'd be very happy to talk to you about what you need and show you how DocLink can help you. We'll go back to the presentation now. Okay, so that's an overview of how to use DocLink and their relevant features. We're going to think a little bit about DocLink in action. We were joined for the webinar by Henry Bridgewood, who's working with Doc Manager based out of Moore Stephens, and he gave us an overview of how Moore Stephens and Gulf Talent have been working together using DocLink on the Online50 platform. In terms of other Online50 DocLink users, the largest user currently at the time of the webinar was Elliott's, with 9 Bureau user licenses, and there's various other users in different industries, a selection of different industries, all making use of DocLink on the Online50 platform. How much does DocLink cost? Well, these are the licensing that we have. Licensing is per registered user, so each named user, in the same way that Microsoft Office is licensed, for example. The Bureau user is for use with firms who have an Online50 hosted Bureau license for working with Sage client datasets. And then a client access could be either full access or read-only, coming in at different price points. So that allows the situation where one user might be attaching the document and another user might only need to reference them and therefore only needs read-only access. It's worth noting that we're currently giving an additional 2 GB of storage. This is to compensate you obviously for the increased storage used by saving documents. It will depend on the documents that you're saving, but for example, with a 50K PDF file representing an invoice, for example, which we thought was probably about average, that's 40,000. So that's a lot of documents. Obviously, if your documents are bigger, you'll get less than 40,000 in there. Scanning support, you can use DocLink with scanning, and scanning will work on the Online50 platform, but it does require a universal scanner license, which is an additional extra. It's not included as standard. It is worth saying that you can use DocLink without scanning, and if you did want to scan, you could make your scans offline and then use the data console to copy those files onto the Online50 platform and then attach them. So it would depend on how you want to work. Next steps for people. So will DocLink help you? We think if you need your accounts online, you probably need your source documents attached. That's why we've extended that generous storage allowance to DocLink. If you need more information, obviously let us know. This webinar was put together to give you the information you need, but if you need more information, let us know. And of course, DocLink is a normal subscription item. That means you can activate it whenever you wish. It is a calendar month notice to reduce, the same as other normal subscription items. We had an opportunity for questions at the webinar. There were very few questions. One question that was asked was, how quickly can DocLink be made live? Well, once we have the confirmation from you that you want to order it, it is in our provisioning system simply assigning the license. You'll then be able to activate DocLink on the datasets you wish to use it with and start using it. The help desk are able to help you do that. We can show you how the software is going to work for you. It's very, very easy to get going. Once we've got the confirmation back, you could be up and running literally within an hour or so. Okay, so that was the DocLink webinar as of 30th of April 2014. We hope to do more user education webinars in the future, so if you're an Online50 user, you should be looking out for your invitations to those webinars as they arise. Thank you very much for your attention and for watching this video.